You were so engrossed, we just didn't have the heart to stop you. Anyway, I will open this meeting of the DeKalb County Commissioners. Today's date is December 11th, 2023. Dottie's not in today, so we will jump right into the MOU for opioid settlement funds. Any additional comments you'd like to make, Judge Squealer? Good morning. I wanted to get Todd on board with this, just to get, in case he had any comments or questions. Is that mic on? Blue light.
The only update from my perspective since last week is that I think it was Mr. Cruz's request, some changes were made to the MOU itself, which I think just more accurately reflect what the agreement is. Spencerville has been removed, and it specifically states that the communities are going to commit whatever portion of the settlement from their perspective that is not yet committed as of the date of signing, which is what the situation is. So I think it just more accurately reflects that. I think those are all appropriate changes from my point of view. Are there any questions?
Comments, questions? The only question I had last week was why Inspiration Ministries was excluded from the list, and I think you did explain that to satisfaction of myself. I don't know if Todd had any questions on that.
I'd talk about that later, but yeah.
I mean, they seem to be pretty successful getting the grants to do what they need to do, what they're wanting to do. So anything further? Judge Grimm, anything?
Yes, you had it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Got to be on record, Judge.
Are you telling me you can't hear me?
Yeah, they got to record it.
Here's my thought on that, gentlemen, and it's just a personal thought, not a judicial thought. The opioid settlement was to offset the damage to the communities from opioid, not to build sidewalk, not to be treated as a glory fund that we can do all this cool stuff we'd like to do in the community, put in new stoplights and do things like that. It was to deal with drug abuse and the significant impact on the people in our communities. And I really think that's how it should be addressed.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. Any other comments?
Was the idea then that the folks that would receive the opioid settlements, that's their dedicated function is drugs, not like Inspiration's more of a total rehabilitation. You know, they handle all facets. Is that your idea behind it? You're targeting just drugs, period? Well, Judge Grimm said, hey, this is for opioid, you know.
The settlement provides that there are categories of funding that has to be used in certain dedicated ways. And there are others that have less encumbrances, but it is designated that way so that it has to be used in certain categories. And the things that we have proposed essentially are things where there's no other funding source, things where needs may have fallen through the cracks. And I think that's very much in keeping with both the letter and spirit of the settlement itself. So that's what we've done in trying to craft something that would be useful to the community in addressing these issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
I'm fine with it.
You're fine with the
Yes.
the
I
MOU
appreciate
now?
them making the changes. Yep.
Okay. Okay, then. We'll entertain a motion. It's Monday morning, senior moment. Entertain a motion. Pass.
I'll move that we approve and sign the memorandum of understanding for the DeKalb County communities to combine the opioid settlement funds into one lump.
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor. Are there any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
We will sign.
Thank you, guys.
Here is,
I guess I'm the,
this is the clean copy.
that's the clean copy.
Yeah.
Okay. President only, by the way, on that signature.
There's a what?
President only
Oh,
on that signature. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, moving on. Ryan Hall, probation.
Good morning. How is everybody doing today?
Morning, Ryan.
Good morning. All right. I am coming to you today to let you know that we have received another grant. This is a new grant from the Indiana Office of Court Services. This grant is funding a new probation officer position. It's allowing funding for our current addictions treatment court probation officer. Excuse me, let me back up. The new probation officer position would be for addictions treatment court. And then it's also providing funding for our current probation officer and providing funding for approximately 20% of my salary as well, along with drug screens, incentives, travel training, and so forth, office supplies, and some other things. And so the total grant award was $192,709. Drug court or addictions treatment court started in July of 2021. Since then, we've received 120 referrals for the program. Of those 120 referrals, 38 participants have signed into the program. 7 have been either terminated or self-terminated. We've had 6 graduates. And right now, our current capacity is at 30. With this additional probation officer that's paid for from the Office of Court Services, it would bump our minimum or our maximum to anywhere between 45 and 50 participants. Our referrals fluctuate. As the program gets full or near capacity, our referrals drop down. And then as we have openings, we get an influx of referrals from the defense and also the prosecutor side. So with this, we'd be able to raise our capacity to 45 or 50 instead of the 25 to 30 that we have right now. Of those, the current officer supervises up to 25, and I also have 5 that I supervise on top of managing FRC, Veterans Treatment Court, the DeKalb County Drug and Alcohol Program, and then also the responsibilities as the Assistant Chief Probation Officer. So with that, we just wanted to let you know that was the funding that's coming in, and we do request to have the opportunity to hire a new probation officer that we currently don't have. Anything additional? I do. I go first. Okay, you go.
As chief probation officer, I'm consistently put in a position where the people that I've hired are too humble. I said the exact same thing at the advisory board meeting. What you have with Officer Hall is somebody who's consistently meeting the expectations of our judiciary. They've walked in 5 years ago, looked at us, and said, "Be great. Okay, get everything you can, do the best that you can for DeKalb County." Okay, now we're talking about having and seeing a need, and Officer Hull and meeting that need for the addictions treatment court, not with direct funding from the council, but going out and finding a grant just under $200,000, not only to help pay for the salary that you've already approved for him, not just to pay for the salary for somebody you've already approved for the officer who's currently working, but also to provide a new officer that will take on additional clients and increase the capacity and abilities for that treatment court, not only for the testing, but another person to help do the amazing things that they're doing with that program. And then do it without putting an immediate expectation on the finances of this county. nothing but praise for the amount that he's already done in finding outside fees to help make sure that these things are done to the highest level that they can be done in the state of Indiana, but continuing to do so. It gives us the opportunity to add those 30 spots. And if you can see what's happening with the people involved in that program, it's amazing. And that's well and above beyond of the fact that he's going out and finding that money to take the portions of his salary and the other officer off the expectations of DeKalb County. So yeah, he gets he's amazing at what he does when it comes to understanding the numbers and what he does with Addictions Treatment Court. But the larger scale and what it may mean to this board and to the people of DeKalb County is the influx of funds and the influx of ability to do not just great things, but even more great things that they're already doing.
Is this a state grant?
It is.
What's the, will we have a good chance of receiving it in '24 also?
The idea for us, every time that we go in, the answer to that question, and I understand why you ask it, is that is the focus of the Indiana legislature. It's the focus of the Indiana Office of Court Services. Their focus is to provide these at the highest level. They realize what the necessity is when it comes to contact for this level of clientele. That's why they're putting them out at the beginning. As you guys know, we got another grant early in November. We're continuing to go out though, find those and use them to the highest level that we can. And the hope is that yes, they're going to stick with the words that they say down there in Indy and say that yes, that is truly our focus. We're going to continue to fund those in these communities out there and make sure that the highest level of service is being provided.
Because my only concern would be, I mean, I'm not worried about the 20%. That's great that they're covering 20% of Ryan's. That's awesome. But
Yeah.
my only concern would be if we keep adding people and then we get reliant on those folks and then all of a sudden the state says, well, we don't have that in the budget. And sorry, but you're missing $300,000 this year now. And now we got to go into the general budget to try to scrape up 300,000.
Oh, sure. I completely understand that. And all I can tell you is when it comes to what we have done in the last 5 years, our growth, a huge portion has been through grant funding.
Right.
You
That's
know?
why I want to see it stay.
Yep. And so that's what we do. If we can't find it through them, well, we will continue to look for it. It's always been a promise of our department and our leadership and administration that we would continue to do that at its highest level.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, and your percent. Barry. First of all, we just had a graduation in Veterans Court, graduated 3 people. I thought it was magnificent, by the way. And I can tell you, just standing up there as judge and looking at these people after 2 years of intensive supervision, it's very hard to say they're not worthy of that, and it wasn't worth the investment of time. My 2 problem-solving courts, as you know, are heavily grant-funded and have been from day one. In other words, they are well-funded. And I have dedicated probation officers to each of those courts because addicted people are heavily supervised. Unless you're really immersed in the environment, it's hard to imagine how involved those probation officers are with these people. It's almost daily contact. They're drug tested 2-3 times a week. That's what it takes in order to fix these problems. And what you're talking about is a very significant reality. When you have a grant-funded probation officer slot, okay, any person looking at applying for that knows that they're looking at 1 year and they might be told to hit the trail. And so you're not going to attract the very people you need, which is the highest level of talent, because of the fact that it's grant funded. It's a practical reality. And I went through that, but maybe because of divine intervention, I personally think I got 2 magnificent probation officers who were new probation officers who really developed and gained the skills, got trained, and do a marvelous job for me. But it's not something that's lost on potential probation officers that this is grant funded and it may only last for a year and it may go away. The way you change that, gentlemen, is you commit to fund it in the future to give that extra security. Now, I know you don't like that thought. You buy in for that extra probation officer salary if you do that. But I just want you to know that you do have the power to change the pool. In other words, change the quality of the applicants by your investment in what we're doing. You will make a significant difference in the quality of the draw. It may or may not be something you want to do it. This is Judge Squiller's court, but I have been through it, and I can tell you what the applicant pool will look like if it's grant funded and they know it's a 1-year gig and you may be hitting the trail. Well, you're not going to hire one of the best probation officers in the surrounding county with 15 years experience. You're not. Okay, you're basically looking at newer probation officers. Doesn't mean they can't eventually rise up. I saw it twice. And so there's light at the end of the tunnel either way. But you do have the power and the ability to increase the quality of that pool simply by having a bit of a commitment to the ongoing maintenance of that probation officer regardless of grant funding. Now, we cross our fingers we get the grant funding. I've gotten it every single year. Every single year. Both of my courts get over $100,000 every year. Just want you to understand the practical part of it. And you were right on the issue. And it's not lost on the applicants either. So, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Just for clarification, it would be the council that would have to do the additional, backup
Right.
of the money.
Absolutely.
Approve the position.
You guys,
They
yeah,
would-
the commissioners can approve that, yeah, you're fine with it, but the council has to have the
Yeah.
final say. Making it clear.
Yeah, I'm just looking at just the big picture of, where the budget goes. Even though we don't control the budget, we
Yeah.
should be
Where?
knowing what's going on.
To
So,
be
yeah.
in their ballpark.
Yeah.
As far as additional funding.
I was just being transparent.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah. Great.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
I'd move that we approve the new probation officer position for treatment court.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Are there any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Granted. Yeah.
Gentlemen, have a good day.
Okay. We go home now?
It's about
Pretty
time,
much.
ain't it?
Just about.
Well, let's jump
Maybe we
into
should-
payroll
maybe we should-
bi-weekly.
I don't even know what I did with my agenda.
Better pay people first.
Yeah, I would
Oh,
like you to
let's-
pay people.
Let's skip it. Yeah, motion for payroll.
I'll move to approve payroll.
Second.
Second, motion second to approve payroll and additional comments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same. Motion carries. We had what, just a few little claims?
Yeah, small little special batch of claims.
See the claims, motion?
Yes, I saw the special claims there. Is that?
Three, I think it was three.
Motion to approve special claims.
Probably the lowest number of claims
Yeah.
dollar amount we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion second to approve claims, additional comments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, minutes. A chance to read the minutes?
Yeah, I'll move to approve minutes.
Accuse myself since I was bowing to the porcelain god during that time.
Oh, that's right.
Was that a second?
No, I was ill.
You have to
so
second. He
You'll have to
wasn't here.
second, and I wasn't, yeah.
Okay, a motion second to approve minutes.
You second, Bill, I need you to second it.
Oh, you need me?
He's gonna
Yeah.
abstain because he was sick.
I was, yeah.
That's right. I'll second.
I tried to be
I'm
funny.
sorry,
Okay.
we gotta kill time, you know.
Right?
Time to kill, so. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. See what you do when you skip
I know.
out on us, Todd. Mess me all
I could
up.
have came in, threw up all over. I'd been fine.
No, it wouldn't have.
Not so much. Larry would not be happy.
Yeah, Larry would be happy.
I would be freaking out.
Okay. Let's jump over into that courthouse generator. I didn't get a chance to talk to Larry. I don't know if he got a quote on that pad to set that generator on. I think we have an idea what that would cost. The pad and the diesel fuel fill-up was not included in the
Yeah.
one quote. But I think there's enough difference. Todd, what was you thinking on that pad? I was thinking 4,000 on the pad, 2,000 to fill.
Yeah, you can get diesel at jobber rate. If you get at least 500 gallons, I think you can get it around high threes, around $4.
Yeah, so $2,000.
So $2,000, $4 to $5,000 for the pad would be my guess.
Todd, is your mic on?
Yeah, it is. I'm too far away.
No, that's okay. I'm watching
There,
cameras to
how's
see
that?
if it's working.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's,
So $4 to $5,000 for the pad. Maybe it's slightly more. I can't imagine much more. You got a little brush to remove.
Maybe 6 at the outside.
6.
would
So I think
say.
there's enough difference. Plus, there is a slight difference in kilowatts.
What was it?
The cheaper one was a slightly bigger output, and kilovolt amps was different too. And that's a measure. I don't understand that measure of work between kilovolt amps and kilowatts. It's some engineer's thing, but now the question I had though, and I read that Susan, you made a note or someone did that the two kind of work together or something, or are these two quotes, are they working through each other? It had me confused. There was a note at the bottom.
well, up here, well, that's because I was confused.
Oh, okay.
So the first one that just has the Votoff
Okay, vote, yeah,
is just them.
okay.
But then the Williams one, they, I don't, contract or they do something and Votal would be the ones that does the,
Electrical.
Oh, they're probably using Votal for the contractor service on the electrical side. Okay, all right. Well, I was
There
like,
you go,
why are we getting
see?
two different quotes if they're, yeah, okay.
We'll say vote
That
out.
makes sense. So I lean probably more towards they're both good companies. I lean more towards the cheaper bid and maybe slightly better equipment. And we have to do a little extra work on our end by getting our own pad and filling it up, but I don't think that's a big deal.
No,
Yeah.
and it tucks nicely in that spot.
Yeah.
It's going to be infinitely better than sticking it out on the corner, so.
Oh, yeah. I've got a 5-gallon can. We can do it 5 gallons at a time if
there
we
you go.
have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be my suggestion, but Mike, your thought on that?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Save money.
Okay. Motion?
Motion's to accept the lesser bid, which what I believe was from W.W. Williams, correct?
yes.
And what was that total again? It was,
131,900.
Yeah.
Plus pad, plus fuel.
Yeah.
well, was that the Votal or was that the?
The 131, okay, the amount is on Votal, but that goes with the Williams.
Okay.
Just the plain Votal is the 148.85.
Yes,
Which is why I made the note.
I got
Because
you.
I wasn't
All
sure
right,
why
thank you.
my papers were all messed
My
up.
motion that would be to accept the W.W. Williams quote for 131,900, excluding the pad and the diesel fill-up.
And I will second.
A motion and a second on the floor. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. That's down.
Good deal.
Okay, I think,
Yeah, okay, I got it. When did they say they could complete that project?
I don't know that there was any date.
Probably 3 to 6 months out just on equipment alone, I would think, but that's a massive unit, MTU diesel, that thing's gonna be, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Those things are amazing.
That should give us some peace of mind. You never know. Yeah, I bought a 15 kW 3-point hitch generator 20 years ago. Have yet to use it except as an actual emergency. We're getting close.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's always that possibility. So anyway,
I used to get generator anxiety. I had one that automatically started every Wednesday, and every Wednesday at 7 a.m., I would wait for it to start. Then when it wouldn't start, I would go, because it would auto start every,
Right.
and sure
Exercise.
enough, the board would fry, you know, and so that was just a little unit. I can't imagine on these big ones, but anyway, yeah, it's all good. Should help.
miscellaneous topics. I hope everybody's got a lot of them.
I have a few.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
go for
I
it.
don't know if I have an hour, but I have a few. The addendum for the commercial lease between the highway and City of Auburn for the Iron Bridge, that was on your desks. It was all spelled out. If you guys are ready to approve that. It just has the language in that we discussed last week.
And you saw my proposed letter, I think, over the weekend
I did.
I sent out.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a reply, I think. I hope.
Yeah, I saw a couple of replies. So so I'll get that out today.
Okay, thank you.
What do you think? Comments?
I think this says what we decided to say last week, so it's-
Fine with me.
I would move that we agree to and sign the addendum to the commercial lease agreement with the City of Auburn for the old highway department in exchange for the old iron bridge, and sign as tenant.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. I will sign. Okay, Susan.
Okay, then, there was from Indiana Department of Transportation scanned into your file regarding Wayne Street Reconstruction Railroad Grade Separation Project. Is that something that you guys want to, they're wanting to know if you're in support of it, I believe. But I didn't know if this is something that we needed to talk to Ben about, or?
I'm not sure that, I took it that if you're opposed to it for environmental reasons or something like that. Did you read that? It was kind of, yeah, I don't think you have any opposition to it, obviously.
No, I think
Yeah.
it would be
Unknown, that would,
pretty nice.
yeah, it's very nice. It doesn't involve any of our roads anyway. I think it was a formality more than anything else.
Well, it says, please review the information and comment within 30 calendar days of receipt. If you indicate that you do not desire to be a consulting party,
Yeah,
Or if you do not respond, you will not be included on the list of consulting parties for this project.
That was it.
If we do not receive your response in the time allotted, the project will proceed consistent with the proposed design, and you will not receive further information about the project unless the design changes. So do we not want to be a consulting party?
I don't see a reason to. But
No reason, we don't own any property there.
And is the
Along
streets
that-
entirely within the city, right? It's not
Yes.
in the county,
no,
Yes.
Yeah.
really has nothing to do with
So,
us.
unless we-
except if it closes, there might be some county roads impacted by the detours, and you might want some input on that.
But we control the detour
Oh,
route. I mean, they'll have to work with whether it's an official or an unofficial
Yeah.
detour. But I just don't.
Okay,
see
so
reason
do
to be
you
involved.
just not want to respond, or do you want to send something saying that you don't wish to be a
Just wouldn't
consulting
even
party?
respond?
Okay,
Why make work for ourselves?
perfect, done.
What do you think, Bill? Mike? I don't care.
We're going to have access to all the information anyway through
Yeah.
the city, so,
Yeah,
I don't think it's a big deal.
okay. I guess I agree. I mean, we've got nothing in it except our roads are going to be impacted. Somewhat, you know, a lot of the traffic's going to come in off, it's going to impact 7th Street for sure. But how does that time though, that overpass and the reconstruction of 7th Street?
well,
I think 7th
Seventh
Street,
Street is 2025, the overpass is 2027.
okay,
So-
okay. That'd be the only snafu,
Oh,
which would
yeah.
be
Yeah.
considerable, but I'm sure
Yeah.
the city is.
There's, the overpass is federal aid dollars, so that's out farther than the
In
end-out
the city,
project.
than the 7th Street.
37.
It could be. You never know.
Okay, I think we're clear on that. Just
Yep, we're good.
don't need to,
Then I have the bonds, the public official bonds for 2024 for the treasurer, auditor, recorder, coroner, clerk, sheriff, and then the blanket bond for the county that you guys have to approve every year and sign. We just happen to get them early. So if you want to sign away, approve and sign away on those.
Which bonds are these? Are these performance bonds on our end, or in other words, like insurance bonds, or are these investment bonds?
No, insurance bonds.
Okay, insurance bonds.
Yeah.
Gotcha. They have to be bonded every year then.
Surety
okay.
bonds to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with them. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same bond.
Yep.
We buying bonds or we buying insurance? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we use the same people.
Yeah.
5,000, that's it? Come on, we gotta go big.
I think that one was the blanket bond.
Gonna do something big, it has to have at least
Lots of
6 zeros.
Yeah.
Right, Andrew?
these bonds, we hope we never have to exercise.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like bankruptcies, when I see them in the paper for $8,000, I'm like, come on, go big. Why?
I move that we approve and sign the elected official surety bonds for 2024.
And I will second that.
Okay, motion and a second on the floor. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. Motion carries and we all get to sign, it looks like.
Every single one.
Every single one.
Well, we earned our money then this week.
What's that?
Well, we earned our money this week. We
Oh.
have to sign all of them.
Jeez.
And Ben messaged me and said that you guys don't need to act on what we just talked about. He already responded to them.
Oh, good.
Good. That's probably something he would be keenly interested in keeping track of.
go. Fun.
Ben says, just as an FYI, that bridge will most likely end up being ours also, and that we should be a part of the design as well.
Okay, that's interesting.
You mean that the bridge on that city street would become, so does the county control all the bridges then?
We own all the bridges regardless.
Even including within the city?
Yes. County's responsible for all bridges that aren't state or federal.
So you might want to be involved in the engineering of it.
Well,
Ben responded, so.
Okay.
we don't have to share the cost, do we?
No,
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Then maybe we should revisit that.
Ben responded on the county's behalf.
Oh,
so-
he responded our, because we said, oh, he
Yeah.
already did.
He's
So
telling you we don't need to do anything because
he's already
already did it.
involved.
And he
Okay.
said, yes, we want to be a consulting party,
Okay.
so that we'll be involved.
Yeah.
Okay, good, then he's protected.
USI is doing the design work on that.
Okay.
so.
And we
Well,
contract with
yeah,
USI.
Yeah, we use them a
They've
lot.
been
so
pretty
that's
good,
gonna-
so.
That'll work out.
Probably in good hands.
Yeah. What else, Susan?
The Early Learning Coalition Chamber, the chamber's asking for the 50,000 of the ARPA funds. Did you talk to whoever you needed
I'm
to talk?
not ready to do that.
Okay. Have you done the DART thing yet?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going there today to talk to Janice,
Okay,
and I have not, but I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna walk through the building. I'm gonna talk to Janice and hopefully go for a ride tomorrow, because she said a Tuesday or Wednesday.
perfect. Okay, just let me know and I'll finish.
A little chauffeur's cap.
Chauffeur's cab? Yeah, I'm not driving.
Oh, come on, Todd. Might add some excitement.
That's all I have.
Is that all? Oh, come
Yeah.
on, Susan. Andrew, what you got?
Well, just thought I'd at least bring up the point that the hotels, from the standpoint of what Susan had brought up, apparently the county has never done an intensive audit of the hotel's records. I mean, that would be a pretty large project. You might want, I mean, I would assume that I don't know whether that's something the auditor's office does, auditing records of other companies.
No.
Probably not, so you might have to hire an independent accountant. I don't see, within the statute, I didn't see that the counties had a right to do that. But the problem being that to know whether or not a hotel has paid their innkeeper's tax, you have to know how many people were staying that night and what they paid, therefore what the percentage is and all of that. You'd have to go through their entire books.
Well, let me ask you this. Is the fee based on a nightly stay or a dollar amount? Is it a percentage of the fee, or is it a individual tax per nightly stay? Do you know, Susan? In other words, is it
I don't know.
$3 per night, or is it 0.2% of the, you know what I'm saying? What,
Of the gross.
the reason why I
Because-
ask, whenever we get audited at our business for sales tax,
Yeah.
it's real simple. They say, what were your sales in Indiana? And I have to give them a ledger,
Right.
and then they take 7%. If it doesn't match, they say,
They
give me
want to
money.
give you the money. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be that simple.
And so the problem I have with this gentleman is, yeah, he's made some payments, but he's still 2 years back, the way I understand it.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So he's still in default, and it's really theft because he took the money and kept it for his own use. It's not his money to start with. Now, if he was just a bad businessman, but those funds should have been segregated. Those are a liability
There should
on
be
his
no
part.
excuse for not paying it because they're
Yeah.
getting it in for the customer.
Yeah, it's not
and
like,
segregate it out because it's not their money.
It's not their money.
it's not coming out of their
Now, if they
pocket.
couldn't pay their income tax because they're just bad business people, I understand that. That's a whole different thing. But that was money collected on the behalf of the county that is a pass-through.
Yeah.
He has no right to that money.
Right.
So,
The other hotels seem to get it now, but
right.
Yeah, just the fact that it's 2 years out is troubling.
the process for obtaining a revocation of the retail merchant certificate, it seems like it has within it the idea that there can be an agreed payment plan, but we had one and then he violated it. And then now he's coming along later and trying to keep up with it to some extent. But
I think what we ought to do personally is give them to the end of the first quarter of '24. And if we're not up to date at that point, I think we need to do the full lawsuit and an audit and hire someone to audit and see where we're at, and then maybe give us insight on what to look for on other, if it costs us some money, but we can't let people run over us. This is,
Well, I think that's a reasonable, I was going to suggest give them 90 days to get current. That's, slightly over 90 days. I think that's more than fair. It's not like this is a problem that just dropped in our lap. This has
Right.
been an ongoing situation with them for
A long
quite a
time.
while, yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure, but I do think it is a percentage of their charge.
Okay, so
And
I
so-
looked up the form and,
Susan, let me finish.
but this is your percentage.
Yeah. Oh, did,
I can tell you.
oh, okay.
It says they put total receipts from rental, then they subtract the exempt rentals. The county innkeeper's tax due is 0.05%. There's a collection allowance of 0.83%.
of the
And then there's
0.05.
penalty, 10% of tax due plus interest at 0.0083 per month.
Oh, hello. So
There
have
is
we-
penalties.
Have we calculated those penalties?
I don't know, are they paying the penalties? Like, I don't know if he's paying the penalties when he's doing
I
that or not.
don't.
I bet he's not.
I don't have his actual, I just have a
Right,
blank
yeah.
form. I don't have his actual form in front of me.
Well, my guess
But
is he's not, if they're not filing that form,
They have to, let me see if I can get,
You want me to email Teresa and just see?
We
I'm gonna ask.
shouldn't need an audit was the next comment I was going to make, because it would be record with the state.
yeah.
Well, but they're self-reporting just like we do on our personal property taxes, so there's no way to know if they're even reporting. In other words, I want to see what they put on their federal tax return for their income versus what they put on to us. There might be two sets of books there. They might say,
Well-
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that would show up just by looking at the books, right? I mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
yeah.
I think we are entitled to see what their true total income is. Now, of course, if they're taking in some cash and sticking it in their pocket, there's nothing we can do there, but,
I have to wonder if they're even filing those forms. They can't be filing those forms with the state without sending any money in. If we ever send the money in, we would be getting it.
They are,
does the form actually get
They-
filed out, Susan, or do they just send money?
the form comes to us, to the treasurer.
Oh, okay. all
I
right.
don't know that it
Doesn't go to the
actually
state.
goes to the state.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a goofy system with very little checks and
Oversight.
balances. Yeah.
I can send a message out to my other auditors and see if they've ever had the situation and if they've had audits performed or something and see what they say.
Hey, I'm all for these small businesses, don't get me wrong. I hate these little taxes that are attached to it too, but that tax does run our Visitors Bureau and does go to good use, and it is the law, whether you like it or not.
Well, I mean, you think about how much time Andrews had wrapped up in it, and how much
Yeah.
McKenna had wrapped up in it before then.
We can't
just
pick and
run-
choose
yeah.
the laws we want to follow and not follow.
Right.
Again, my motion be give them 90 days, or end of first quarter. Let's
End of
make
first
it,
quarter.
end of March 31st,
31st.
to be 100% up to date in payment. Otherwise, we're going to do a lawsuit.
And the lawsuit might be interesting, because I think that gives us subpoena power over their books.
That would. And hopefully they're listening and they can avoid that by just paying what they took.
Assuming that was a motion, I'll second it.
Okay, yes.
Okay, Mike seconds.
Okay, motion and second on the floor. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same. Motion carries.
I will notify Mr., depending on what his first name is, I haven't been able to figure that out, but Ganesh or
We'll get there.
Rayao or something like that. Okay. I will notify him.
Okay,
Pull a Joe Biden.
And I think it's totally legitimate to make that decision, because he violated the agreed-upon plan that we had.
Right.
So,
okay. Anything else?
Do we still need to do something with the farm contract? Sunny Meadows?
we have to do the bids for both of them, I think. Is that what you're talking about?
We gave them the notification that it,
Oh, yeah.
Right, I did send out the
bid.
notification
Yeah.
for the farmer as required by law, but
but it goes to bid in March, doesn't it? It's when the bids are due?
maybe February,
February, maybe?
It's February.
The contract was, yeah.
which means we gotta send out the bids soon, not probably January, or, I mean, I don't know how soon they have to go out, the request for bids.
I don't know, because I've never been a part of the process.
Okay.
Weren't you in? Oh, no, you wouldn't have been, because that was a 2-year, was that a 2-year agreement?
Three.
Was it
Three-year
three?
agreement.
Yeah, you wouldn't have
Okay.
been then last time.
3 year.
No, Jan wasn't either. Jim,
Oh.
Jim did it
Oh,
all.
well, then I can
have-
look up Jim's file and then just prepare a new request for bidding.
But we opened the bids here, I remember, because I remember one
We can
gentleman.
do
Right,
A couple of them were here.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll
I know
have to
that we
draft
opened
those,
them, but
yeah.
the
Okay.
process of getting to that point,
you don't have-
our office has
Yeah.
not,
okay.
Your
I mean, I
office hadn't
can
been
be,
involved
but
in it.
I have not ever been involved. We don't know.
Well, if McKenna did it before, I'm willing to do it.
Must be our county
Pick that up,
attorney's
so-
responsibility.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'll work on that.
We're not sure it's always the county attorney's
Probably
responsibility.
after first year.
No.
Will that work?
Totally fine. Susan helps out a lot, so I don't mind.
Smartest person in the
Doing
room
this.
always gets the workload.
Oh, boy.
Glad it's not me.
The smartest two people in the
Hey.
room always
Yeah,
get
there
the
you go.
workload.
I don't want any more.
Okay, we'll get that moving. But that's the first of the year, get those bids in.
Yep.
That gives them a chance to get their books figured out and what they think they can pay for next year, depending on what they
Prices.
made this year. A lot of that is,
What were you gonna say, Mike?
The sheriff's office tagged that boat
oh,
that Larry pulled out, and they're gonna have it towed. They had to set for a couple of days before they could
Oh.
tag that, before they could tow it, but
okay.
it's going away, and I understand Larry's working a little bit in getting that front part of that pole barn
Oh,
in
nice.
shape for maintenance.
Great,
Will be our county maintenance, or the maintenance man out there, he's
perfect.
Yeah, but Rick.
put the truck in there and
That'll be great.
he's had a little
Big
shop.
spot.
Good shelter for it and
Yeah.
a little work
Yeah.
area.
And it's a nice little work area when they get it cleaned up.
Nice.
While we're on Sunny Meadows and everything on Sunny Meadows, Frank Nestor has installed the new windows in the shower rooms
Oh, good.
Oh,
last
already
week.
good.
So those are in. And he said the old ones were really, really bad.
Rotted out.
And so they're on board, him and Pranger, on board that first year to get those showers
Nice.
remodeled.
Outstanding.
Get that project done and,
So they were installed?
yeah,
The
windows are.
windows were installed.
Yeah, he wanted to give in before the bad weather and not have to do them in the middle of the project, snowing and blowing, so.
Did they put in a vinyl wrap or aluminum clad or? do you
I
know what
think
they
they're
did?
vinyl. I haven't been out and looked at them. I think that's what was in there before, so
Okay.
I'm assuming so.
Great.
So anyway, that's moving along.
Good news.
Yeah, that's good news.
I always wonder, window installations on a brick building, especially a double brick building like that, was it in a brick wall they had to put them in?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
To do it right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It depends how that window comes in. If you get the measurements right, that window comes in the way you
And if the
measured
opening's square.
It goes in pretty good. Yeah, it goes in pretty, it's not so bad, but
Okay.
anyway, they're in. So that's going to help the heat project, the heating situation. And
Big time.
Good.
I'll get it stopped out there and take a look at it. But they've got a plan put together on the shower, what they're going to need. Of course, you know, everything that's going to be up to the code, put it that way.
Great.
Good to have that done.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have to have a little celebration when it's done of some sort.
Yeah, grand reopening.
Yes, yeah, grand opening of the shower rooms.
Yeah.
The last two returns for the innkeepers issue, that was, let's see, October, November of '21. They do not have the penalties on it. I'm trying to remember.
Is the penalty listed on the form as being filled in if it's after a certain date?
No, that's what I was,
They probably need to be told of the penalty because that isn't fair to,
Yeah.
right,
So,
that's what I was trying to remember
I mean, they're supposed to know the law. However,
in our ordinance.
to be fair, they need to be reminded that there's a penalty.
So I'll remind Ganesh about that when I do him the notice
Yeah, I think so.
thing. You
Well,
gotta be
we
paid
probably
up.
need to make sure our ordinance
Does it?
says it.
Yeah, clearly.
Well, I think even if we could get it all cleaned up by March 31st, you know, it would not be complete out of the question to waive the penalties if we get,
If he
if
cooperates.
he gets it caught up by then.
Yeah.
And put the penalties in place if he doesn't,
Yeah.
going. you
I
know,
think that
and-
should
and
be a
going
good,
forward.
be a good carrot for him. Just say, hey, you can
With
save
the-
yourself a couple grand by not being dumb here and just pay
With
it.
the understanding that going forward, any late payments would include a penalty.
Yeah.
But you said the penalty's 10%? That would be a fairly good chunk for 2 years.
It was a percentage, I believe, of, was it an interest, penalties and interest? The penalties were 10%, then there was interest of a certain rate too, wasn't there? I mean, it's not
It might
big.
just be easier if you can.
Okay, yeah. How do you tell what's exempt? I mean, total receipts were 87,000, total exempt 48,000. Half of the hotel rooms are exempt? Why?
I have no idea
Can
why
you find
any of
out
them would
what-
be exempt, but.
Can you
okay.
find out what
The only
what would
exemption-
constitute an
Yep.
exemption?
Would be a government agency.
Or maybe a nonprofit? Would a nonprofit not have to pay the taxes?
Hard to say.
Like
think we
somebody
need to
coming in
find
for the
out.
ACD museum or something, I don't know.
Because I would list all mine as exempt also if I could, you know. The question is, did he list them as exempt and still collect the tax too? You see what I'm saying? That's why I don't, without any audit power, you're just 100%,
At the mercy.
collection allowance, net tax due. Let's see here. Penalty is greater of $5 or 10% of line D plus interest, but it doesn't tell what the interest is. So we'd have to go to our ordinance for the interest probably. But, so he paid in $1,964 on $87,000 worth of accommodations minus 48,000 in exemptions. I find it interesting that the exemptions were exactly one half or less than, or more than one half
Yeah.
the total receipts are.
Yeah.
What's with it? Yeah, what's,
I
That's,
mean, but what, he might be right. What constitutes an exemption?
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Or if they're out of the state or within
Well,
the state or.
what does the ordinance read, though? Does the
That's what I'm saying. We better know what we
does
are
the
before
ordinance
we-
allow for exemptions, or is it on the gross?
Well, there's state gross retail tax and use taxes, and those, you can be an organization exempt from the state gross retail tax, which would be a nonprofit or governmental entity potentially.
Yeah.
Well, the place should have the certificates, like when we travel, we have to take our county tax exempt certificates to provide it for their information.
They have to have an ST-105 on file
So-
for any exemption that they
You
get.
can't tell me, though, that 60% of the people are exempt. I mean,
Oh, I'm not saying, I'm just saying that they
if that's the
should,
criteria, is
they
Yeah, they
should
have to
have
have it on
a
file.
form
I mean-
to back up the,
travel would have more probably just because government travels a lot, but come on, let's be honest. What's a hotel's travel from government or exempt agencies? Maybe 10%? I mean,
Well, yeah, here it would be very small.
you go to New York City
Where
or,
they have the big conventions and
yeah,
stuff.
that'd be a little
Yeah.
different. So I think we got to look hard. I think, can you find out, if you'll find out, please, what constitutes an exemption for sure and how he accounted, we need to figure out how he accounted for
well,
$48,000.
honestly, I don't know if we'll be able to figure that part out.
Well, I can ask him for one thing and just say, how
Yeah,
do
we
you
can
determine
ask.
How'd you come up with 60% being exempt? Do you have
Yeah.
certificates for every one of them stays?
He should.
I should, yeah. I mean, we do, whenever we sell something tax exempt, I have to get a form for the BMV showing why it was exempt
And
I
that's
need to-
October, November of 2021.
and signed by
Yeah.
the customer.
And I'll review, I was thinking that, and I can't find it right at the drop of a hat here. I was thinking that we had worked together with Amber, with Visitors Bureau. I was thinking that we were gonna do an ordinance, an updated ordinance, so that all these ordinances that have been amended here and there were all in one. But I don't see it right at
I'm meeting with Amber at 11:30. I'm gonna bounce her on,
today.
yes. I'm gonna bounce her on this and just say, hey, maybe she knows what constitutes exempt too.
Ask her if
and-
she recalls if we actually got the one combined ordinance.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't see it listed
All
anywhere.
right. Because we need to make sure we know what we're talking about before we.
Well, I'm sure she's got a relationship with one of the hotel managers
Yeah,
to the extent that she could ask somebody who's actually paying.
that's paying, that's
how
doing it
they-
right.
How they calculate their,
Yeah, I'd like to see, and I'd like to see what other hotels have reported. Susan, can you pull what other hotels have reported for exemptions? I'd like to see the difference between the two,
Yeah, one
3 or
second.
4,
Right here in 2014, we have a ordinance imposing fines for late payment of county innkeeper's tax.
2014?
Yeah, let me see if this says. Okay, in this one, it says any payment not made by the 25th of the month following the month in which the tax is collected will be subject to 5% penalty on the amount unpaid. On the amount of the innkeeper's tax unpaid as of the, this legal, as of the 25th day of the month.
Yeah, but the
Any
form I just
amount-
read said $5 or 10%, whichever is less. So our form's different than what our ordinance says. It says $5 or 10%. That says 5%.
so the ordinance would prevail.
Yes. So, and then it goes on to say, if any amount of the appropriate innkeeper's tax remain unpaid 30 days after the end of the month of which the tax is collected, an additional 10% penalty on the amount unpaid shall be
Okay.
imposed.
Additional 10 then.
Then it says, if any amount remains unpaid after 60 days, the matter shall be turned over to the attorney for the DeKalb County Commissioners to institute collection proceedings, and in addition to any and all penalties otherwise imposed, the innkeeper shall be responsible for costs of collection and attorney fees charged in a reasonable amount by the attorney for the DeKalb County Commissioners.
Well, and you know what, like I said, I think this is a good one to see, to compare against other hotels to see what they showed for exemptions. If we see that everyone else is showing 10% of the rooms is exempted, then I
That
think
makes you
we
wonder.
about have to do a lawsuit and do an audit. Because if he collected them, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything here, I'm just saying, but let's say he collected the money on these, kept
pay
it,
it.
and then said, okay, so these were exempt. That would be a real problem.
Yeah. That exempt thing is really questionable.
Yeah, and maybe he's right.
That's a red
I
flag
just
all
want to
over.
see what it,
Well, yeah.
I want to see what others are reporting
I don't
because,
know.
That's a red flag,
yeah.
big time.
I'm trying to find that out.
Appreciate
I
that.
can't tell on, right here, I can just see what we've collected. I can't tell on the,
Do you have full scanning does this stuff get scanned in your system where like you can, if someone makes a payment to us, you can look in your system and pulled up the scanned document that they presented, you know? Do those documents get scanned into your software? The report?
just recently, all this stuff gets connected to the claim form. Just recently, we've been able to have the ability to scan into our financial system.
Okay.
So that's, yeah, it's
Kinda
getting
nice.
there,
It's a lot of work.
but way beyond, before there isn't.
Okay, all right, just curious. Just makes it handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would
One
be.
day it will be.
I think that would
got
be
a
a good
plan.
thing for us, maybe do those, have Susan compare other, if when you get a chance, look up the other companies, see what they reported, and then get with Attorney Cruz and say, okay, we're seeing a 10% here and 60% here.
Yeah.
Now we need to really dig deeper. Or, no, they're reporting about the same thing, okay, well, what constitutes exempt, you know?
Yeah.
I think towards the beginning of last year, or maybe springtime, there were about 4 hotels that we didn't know were paying or how much they'd paid, basically. 2 of them, I think, were paying through the state, but our ordinance requires being paid through locally. We got that resolved and turned around. And then the other 2, I think, were this Baymont and then the other related company, I think, that Ganesh was working with as well, and they got theirs paid up in full, I believe. So our only, the main hotel we have hanging out here not paid up in full is the Baymont one,
Okay,
is my understanding.
all right.
So everything else, I think, is going along smoothly but we're assuming that they're giving, each of the hotels is giving us accurate records, but just like what you said, we don't know for sure.
Generally, when people don't pay you willingly, there's more to the story. In other words, you got to dig a little deeper. But this could just, you know, accusing,
This is
but
becoming,
needs a good look at.
yes, a situation.
It
Anything
isn't
else?
fair to the others that pay too.
No, it's
If
not.
that's unfair
That's
competitive
gonna,
advantage, you know.
and obviously their occupancy rate is gonna be somewhat different. I don't know how popular this is compared to the other ones, but percentage-wise, it should look the same, pretty much the same.
You would think so.
Percentage will be the same.
Yeah, it should look pretty much, I mean, it might be.
Within reason.
There's gonna be some difference, but not a great deal. Okay, anything else?
I had one thing, and I don't know where I read this document. I was just going through our agreements. The public defender agreement, if I remember right, Mark R. Lavero, I believe our ordinance says that he has to be a DeKalb County resident. I think that's where I read it. And he's not. He's a Coldwater resident, and I don't want to lose him. He's a great guy. So if we need to change that verbiage, I think we need to look at that. I can't remember where I read that. Andrew, if you could look it up. I was just going through documents. And he was my neighbor there in Coldwater for a while. He still lives there, and he does a great job for us. So I think if that needs changed, we need to
Yeah.
look into that.
Well, definitely.
Because we need to be in compliance.
Look up ordinance, and then if it's needed to change that, we could
For the
change the
public
language. on-
defender position, yeah.
And we don't, when you get a chance, no. Anything else?
Wait, 1 second.
Yep, go ahead.
I got, just a minute, I'm getting information for you.
Oh, see, look at that, bang.
Magic fingers.
Okay, so now I've got magic people that can send me stuff. Okay, so for example, Sure Stay, whatever that one is, their total receipts was just over 52,000. Their exempt rentals were a little over 5,000.
Like 10%, which is what I figured it would probably be. I think we need one more example when you get time.
Yeah, I'm asking for my claim form.
The Hilton would be a good,
But that's interesting that it's only 10% for that hotel.
Versus
and
60.
60% for
And
that.
that sounds more logical.
Yeah,
By-
that's
by
what I
law.
said, 5 to 10% is probably
Yeah.
and like I said, if they do exempt, you gotta have a form showing You got to claim exemption with the form.
Yeah, what's
So show me your receipts of your forms. Show me all your exempt receipts. I have a feeling they
Documentation.
won't be there.
yeah, you can't just exempt anybody.
There could be 5 or 10 grand here that we're missing. Maybe more. Just doing some quick math.
Wow.
Again, this is where a county manager keep an eye on this type of stuff, know our ordinances, know what's being collected, integrate with the auditor and the treasurer and everyone else, and just have a pulse on everything that goes on in the county. Kind of like a controller in a business,
Yeah.
Be the purchasing agent, could be the watchdog, That's good information though, Susan. Appreciate that. And their total receipts were, well, I don't know if it was during the same time frame, but their total receipts were
Right.
30% less too.
Yeah.
40%, almost 40% less.
Okay, so I did confirm, because I wasn't sure, this one looked like it was behind, oh, I only need one.
Bring it all.
I only need the innkeeper. Thank you. Yep.
This program part of the Paperwork Reduction Act too.
Right? I only have
Are those reports due quarterly, monthly? They're obviously monthly, aren't they?
monthly, and they're supposed to send it even if they have nothing to report.
Right, until they rescind their business license or the retail merchant certificate.
Okay, here's a different one. This one is Red Roof Inn. Total receipts a little over 70,000 and exempt like 14,600. Now, the Holiday Inn Express, they don't have any exempt. Their total receipts were 229,000
Wow,
and no exempt.
no exemptions.
What was their bill to the county?
A little over 11,000.
Is that for a month?
That was for, yeah, that would have been
Wow,
September's.
that's big revenue for the year.
All September.
Oh, September, yeah, that ACD days, but still,
Yeah.
but no
They'd be
exemptions.
Full.
Which,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what, probably might not have been exempt. Those are all tourists coming for the festival.
Could all be
stuff.
pre-booked tourists for
Yeah.
the festival, can
Might have
theoretically.
just filled that up, being especially a known brand name like that. People like to know what they're
Right,
getting.
right.
For suites,
Yep.
they total was a little over 113,000. Their exempt was a little over 7,500.
Less than 10%, so 7% on that one.
Hampton, total 180,000, exempt 10,350.
6%.
That makes the 60%.
That's what I'm
Interesting.
saying. That just struck me.
Yeah,
I think we got to really dig on this one. I'm
Yeah.
kind of changing my mind on how to approach this now.
okay.
Guys, what I'm seeing here, and I'm, again, still not accusing, but
I think we have to be careful not to accuse. You just have questions, reasonable questions.
60% exemption rate, I think we need to have proof of the exemptions now.
We need verification.
Because I have a feeling we have a possibility of $10,000, $20,000 gone over a couple years' time, pretty easily.
Yep.
That's the case,
Okay.
That would be.
So don't offer to wait.
I don't think we offer anything at this point, guys. What do you think? I think we don't throw the hammer, but I think we need to.
Well, we can't require proof, or we can't dig into the exemption part of things unless we either change the ordinance or file legal action to give us subpoena power for the books. So it's one or the other. We can't just say, you've got to show us what your exemptions are. We don't have any basis to do that.
I think we could ask him for it, and if
We
he
could ask-
doesn't,
oh,
Yeah, we
we
could
could
ask.
ask.
I think we
Yeah.
ask. I think we need to ask.
Then I can report back to you on what I'm
Yeah.
finding out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to ask for it at least, not require it like you said, but, and then if he cooperates, that shows. If he
Goodwill.
doesn't cooperate, then I think we just go right to lawsuit.
I think right now what we ask for specifically is asking for basically the exemptions for the 2 months that he has proposed, is where we start out with. He's given us those numbers, he's told us those numbers, and we can say, the exemptions, you know, we need to know what they are. They seem way higher than everybody else's that we're aware of. You know, can you substantiate those?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that makes a big deal in the calculation. That tax would be more than double of what
Yeah.
was reported.
Right.
And if it was
Right.
collected and kept,
Yeah.
So instead of
that's fraud.
That's fraud.
1,700, 1,500, it's going to be
Yeah.
35.
Yeah. It's just something to,
Yeah, that's criminal.
we need to be vigilant because it isn't, again, it isn't
That's theft.
fair to those that are doing it right.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
I agree.
okay, we got a plan.
Well, and then we would have all the penalties.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
we
we'd
need
have to
collect them.
recalculate everything once he sends it all in.
Yeah.
Because right now they only have 2 in, but mid-December he's supposed to send in another one, probably December's of 21 at least.
Right, but since 2014, if they've been behind, they're supposed to be paying penalties.
Right. And what's
Right,
our,
they're not paying penalties yet.
and
so-
is there a statute of limitations on taxes? There isn't, is there? I mean, you can,
Well, there is on federal, I'd have to look up what the state is. Federal, like personal income taxes, the statute of limitations is 4 years, but because you pay a year behind, it's like 5 years.
okay, okay.
You know, so it only goes back 4 years of payments.
Right.
But because you pay a year behind, these are not paid a year behind.
I-
So the statute of limitations should be 6 years or 10, but I can look it up as
And I
well.
assume on the form they submit that there's a statement that I certify that this is true and correct, you know?
There should be some sort of, I mean, of course, our
Yeah.
form, I don't know, like a,
Well, he
Under
didn't.
penalty of perjury
He didn't
form?
sign this one, but
yeah,
yeah, I declare under
But
penalty
he
of
didn't
perjury,
sign
that's
it?
true. He filled
need
in
to
the
demand
date
he
and gave
needs
us
to
his
sign it.
phone
Right.
number.
So we
Okay,
need to reject those
I
when
think
they
this
come in
was
without a
the-
signature.
Janitor, possibly.
Right. Yeah, we got to jump on, I don't feel comfortable with this one.
Okay,
okay, I'll dig into it a little bit more.
real quick, before we have to go to break. Appointments, 2024. We need to do those next week.
Yeah, I'll do them at your last meeting.
Any discussion on some of these openings?
Can we just do them real quick, talk about them? I mean,
I don't know,
not
I
the
don't-
point, but just talk about the positions that are
Yeah.
open.
First page, Drainage Board, Citizen Representative Jim Miller. I don't know about him.
That's a little rough to me.
He's, I don't know, that's a big question mark there.
Farmers don't know anything about drainage, do they?
Would you take it again? You would take it, okay. Airport Authority, Robert Patterson.
I believe, talked to Russ on Robert. He want to serve again?
Yeah, I haven't had any contact on that.
I will talk to Russ
Well,
on that.
isn't Bob Patterson? Trying to think.
Wait, is he,
Didn't he,
he passed away.
He passed
I'm
away.
sorry,
He was at our
and-
church
and
county
then
line
your
and he
cousin
passed
took
away.
his spot.
yes.
And then, I'm sorry, yeah, he's deceased. I'm sorry. That's why there was someone else that wanted to run, or that wanted the, oh, wait, no. The email was your
Was it?
cousin,
Okay.
wanting to be reappointed. So Mr. Cruz would like
Yeah,
to be
Bob Patterson
reappointed.
passed away
John would
in
like to
office.
be reappointed.
Yes.
Which I would be in favor of reappointing
Yeah,
John.
definitely.
To Bob
John,
Patterson's.
that's right.
He was caucused in per se, not caucused,
Okay.
but we appointed him.
Temporary.
Yeah, midterm or something.
And I would be in favor of reappointing John Cruz.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I had that
Uh,
backwards.
Auburn Territory Jurisdiction, Christopher Lamb.
Chris Lamb, well, I've got a plan commission meeting tomorrow, so I can ask him, but I would imagine he'll want to be reappointed. Yeah, he's been really involved.
Okay.
Board of Zoning Appeals, Mary Deal and Larry Williams. I know Larry Williams is a go.
Yeah, Larry said he would, Mary will, and so will Frank.
Okay,
So we have Larry Williams, Frank Pulver,
Mary Deal.
and Mary Deal.
Yeah, Frank is the plan commission representative to the BZA.
Oh, yeah. And Frank, there's a certain amount of positions that we're required to have Democrat unless we can't find them, right?
Yeah.
Frank would probably
Frank is
check
a-
that box,
Frank
I
is
would
a
think.
Democrat, yeah.
okay.
But Larry's willing to go on and Mary's willing to stay too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd have no problem with that.
Butler Public Library, Daniel Poe.
Haven't had any contact on that one at all. I can check with the library director. Yeah,
Okay.
see if,
Okay, Council on Aging,
Rod is a go.
he's a go.
Rod Knox?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be good for that.
Health Officer, Dr. Souter.
He's a definite go. He's looking forward to staying where he's at.
Go until he's 6 foot under on everything. That's just how he operates.
He'll still be going when he's 6 foot under.
Plant Commission, Jerry Yoder.
I believe Jerry's okay. I haven't talked to him directly, but I think he's probably all right.
Question mark.
I can check with him.
Okay.
How long's he been on there, do we know?
Wow. All three of the Peterborough Board people are a go.
Okay.
PETA?
Peterborough,
PETA eating tasty animals?
yeah, something like
Charlotte
that.
Sunken.
Yeah, Shar, Ron, and Linda are all agreeable.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. Redevelopment Commission. All three are up.
Yeah, Shelley would like to be reappointed. Dennis Cruz would not. And I have not had any kind. Yeah, Shelley Smoltz is.
I can check with Chris. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
check
sure
with Chris.
he's
I would imagine he would want to be continued.
Chris, oh, yeah.
Chris Pranger.
Spranger. Because he just went on, what, 6
Right.
months ago.
And then Dennis wants off?
Yeah,
I haven't heard from him one way or the other.
Okay.
I heard from
But
him. He just texted me.
Had enough, huh?
Well, he got married and has other things to do.
He what?
He got married.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew
Yeah, he
that,
just got married recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honeymooning.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Him.
Okay, so we need a replacement for Dennis.
yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, let me think about that.
Make some calls.
Does that have to be Democrat, Republican? Well,
No,
Dennis,
that's not
so-
partisan.
Okay. It's not
Tourism Commission Board, Anton King.
Tourism.
I would imagine, I know that Amber would like Anton to be reappointed.
I talked to Amber about that. Matter of fact, she's pretty happy with Anton on there, and I do think he gives some guidance being in the driving people to stay here. And
Waterloo Public Library. Susan Sleeper, do we know her?
it's not to be
Would you like
trusted.
to
Yep.
stay on the library board, Susan?
I have it all ready for you.
Okay, Mary, do you know anything about Mary?
Anita?
Or
Anita.
Anita, I'm sorry.
Let me think about that one.
Okay,
Yeah, let me think. Because I was thinking that her son was, but her son is actually filling a different position. Yeah, let me,
you want to dig into that?
yeah.
Okay,
So there's, and we have, there are 2 appointments to the Eckert Library that are on odd sequence, and they're
Yes.
actually up January 24, Barb Morrow and Pete Kemp.
Yes,
PK
I have,
3. But you want to move that.
I actually was able to talk to Janelle. She is helping at the library right now in the interim. And she said there was not really any reason why. It just happened to be when, like, if somebody resigned, things went a little off schedule. So she does not see a problem that we make them a January 1 start so that we can have them on calendar year.
And I did talk to Pete and Barb both, and they would love to be reappointed to the board, so.
okay. Anything else? Anybody have anything else? Because we're up to 5 minutes.
My list.
We have made it through both of our Amish plate.
We go
Buggy
again
plate?
tonight.
Go again tonight?
Yep, we went
Okay.
last Monday and we go again tonight.
Very good.
Great.
Thank you for putting that all together and providing that service to the
Yeah,
to the
Jody's
community.
Appreciate that.
Jody's done a great job setting it up, and she goes with me and works
How
out well.
much did we bring in last year? Do you know off the top of your head? You don't have to look it up. Quick, I'm just curious to see
Like-
where this is going, and
Dollar amount or how many we sold?
dollar amount's fine. Be interesting to see this year, and then
Quite a few.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
You did 30-some the first night, didn't you?
So
Really?
all of 23, we sold 104 plates, so a little over 20,800.
wow.
For 2024, I think we have, yeah, that first night, I think we did like 38. So we had 38, a few renewals and then a few new purchases as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And they did inform me that we will probably never, ever sell a trailer plate in DeKalb County. And so I'm going to see if there's something that I can do with those 300 plates to
Make them.
make them buggy plates.
Can we get sticker for 'em maybe to put over them or something, or
I'm trying to figure that part out.
are they the same color? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they all really want smaller plates.
Do they?
And I told them I would have to see, well, one, you guys have to decide, but I'd have to see. They said Allen counties are much smaller, kind of like a motorcycle plate.
Yeah, if you, I don't know where you're going, but they have, if you go out and look at the buggy, they all are built with a receptacle for a small plate.
Right, and that's what they said. And I had used the guidance from LaGrange County.
Well, maybe
Theirs
we
are
could-
big.
Maybe we could get through ours and then order the smaller ones, because
Yeah.
it's not like you're an officer chasing someone at 120 mile an hour and you're trying to read the plate, you know, it's like, you know.
No, you're not.
Just wait till the horse has a heart attack and then you pull them over, you know.
So I told them that I would look into it, but
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
Okay, and we got the
Good job.
Dutch Heritage, that's all ready or set up or?
she was supposed to let us know last week when she had them all picked up from her printer person. And I have not, we didn't hear anything on Friday, so yeah, it's close.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Good job.
All right, anything else?
I'm good.
Is that a wrap? Then we'll adjourn this meeting to the DeKalb County Commissioners.
Righty.
No objection.
And go to break and do